Welcome in to Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us. Day number 2 of the NFL Draft is here after an exciting night last night with Seattle taking Devin Witherspoon at number 5 and Jackson Smith-Njigba at number 20. Back to business as Seattle has 3 picks in the next 2 rounds this evening. We'll preview it for you coming up in a matter of moments. Before we do, what's your one-word reaction to the first round of the draft for your Seattle Seahawks? My one word in the, I would say, to quote the great Dave Armstrong, wow, right? I mean, that's how I would go about looking back at last night. It was something else, right? And Seattle picked up some pretty good talent with their 2 picks. That's my one word. Wow. Give me your one-word reaction in the comments section. We'll get started with today's show. So here's what we are going to do. I have a brand new mock draft for rounds 2 and 3. So a condensed version. We're not going to go into day 3. We're going to focus on today in the 3 picks of the Seahawks. And we're also going to go over draft targets. I have players that are expected to be available when the Seahawks pick with each of their 3 selections. Let's go ahead and recap the situation heading into tonight. We mentioned Witherspoon and Smith-Njigba selected with those 2 first-round picks last night. Seattle took some calls. They had some interest in trading down, but they didn't get the offer they necessarily wanted. 8 picks still to go. The draft is really just getting started for the Seahawks, and they made, remember, some big moves this past offseason, re-signing Geno Smith to a pretty decent amount of money. You bring back Bobby Wagner, Draymond Jones. And so this is a team that has high expectations. Louis Riddick was saying last night on ESPN that he feels that the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC West right now, that they're the favorites. So a lot of excitement for what Seattle is doing, and we'll see what they do with the remainder of their picks. Still needs a defensive tackle, edge, running back, and linebacker, just to name a few. Day 2 coverage of the NFL Draft continues tonight on Chat Sports. Myself and our Chat Sports team will be with you breaking down each and every pick in real time. That's where you can find me tonight, as we'll have live coverage of the Seahawks picks as well as the others. Make sure and join us this evening as we'll have coverage for you on our main Chat Sports channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. You will not want to miss it tonight. Round number 2 and 3, we got you covered. We'll see you then. So at 37, I'm going to go back to my final full round 7 mock draft, who I had at 37. Still saying John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota finds his way to Seattle with this selection at 37. The Seahawks looking for help in the interior of their offensive line, and John Michael Schmitz is the guy exactly what Seattle is looking for. Now, we've seen that they haven't always prioritized the biggest needs so far in this draft, that they've gone with talent, but I could argue that John Michael Schmitz will be the most talented player available when Seattle picks at this spot. Here's more from The Athletic on John Michael Schmitz. Schmitz must do a better job keeping his feet, hands, and eyes on the same page, but he has the play strength and finishing attitude to execute at the NFL level. With improved consistency, he can be a functional pro starter. The numbers, according to Pro Football Focus, in 12 games played in 2022 include an overall grade of 92.3, run block grade of 81, or pass block grade of 81, run block grade of 92.4. That's outstanding. 2 sacks allowed from John Michael Schmitz there. Next up at 52, I am taking Keion White for Seattle with this pick. Seattle still needing help in that front 7. I think Keion White is a good find for the Seahawks here with this pick at 52 overall. And he was the guy that had a chance to go last night. And now we find ourselves in this position where he is still around here at this point. I think that there's a good chance that he is still available when the Seahawks pick with their 2nd first-round pick. More from The Athletic. White is still developing his craft and pass rush technique and instincts, but he is a high motor, height, weight, speed, edge player with power as a bull rusher in the mass to anchor versus the run. Similar to Dante Jones, he is a scheme-proof prospect and projects as a rotational base end as an NFL rookie. And as a rotational player, you'd have to think he would get playing time right away in Seattle's defense. Last season, he was awesome. 7.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss. Also pretty decent in pass coverage, too, with 17 pass breakups. I think he'd be a good fit for Seattle with that pick there at 52. We move ahead to the 3rd round. That's where we find Tyjae Spears, the running back from Tulane, with the pick. And Seattle, of course, already has Kenneth Walker III, but you need a running back for Kenneth Walker. Need to keep him fresh and healthy. And I think that Spears would be a very good complement for Seattle and what they're looking to do, and pairing up with Kenneth Walker here, they could be a dynamic 1-2 punch as far as I'm concerned. More on Spears. Spears doesn't have desired build or run strength, but his explosive read plant burst action allows him to abruptly change his rush path and elude tacklers. He shows the potential for 3 down duties. That's what I want to hear, especially if we're trying to give Kenneth Walker a break of sorts here. Although he will be at his best as part of a committee, similar to the Buffalo Bills' James Cook. The numbers from Tyjae Spears. I love the photo here of him taking down USC in the Cotton Bowl. That was a really fun game, and I was happy that coach at SC lost that day. And Spears had close to 1,600 yards last season and a nice average of 6.9 yards per carry with 19 touchdowns. I mean, I got to tell you, this guy is all that in a bag of chips. I feel pretty good about Tyjae Spears. I think he'd be good for Seattle here. Name a player Seattle should draft tonight. I got 3 for you here. Do you like those 3, or are there others that come to mind? Tell me in the comments section who you would like to see be a Seahawk by the end of the night when it's all said and done. This weekend, we are racing to 37,000 subscribers on the channel. We're trying to do it for Sean Alexander, but we need your help to get there. We need 260 more subscribers. I believe I have tapped the Ted Lasso believe sign. I believe that we will get to 37,000 subscribers this weekend. I think we can even do it tonight, but we need your help. Subscribe now. We're covering the draft all weekend long. We also got the UDFAs coming up on Sunday. This is the channel for the diehard Seahawk fan. Subscribe now for free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. All right, let's go through the best available at 37. You have John Michael Schmitz, obviously. Osiris Torrence could also still be on the board for Seattle potentially at the offensive guard spot. I think you'd be happy with either player, quite frankly. Osiris Torrence, all SEC performer. His 1 year in the SEC last year after playing in the Sun Belt previously, he could be good as well. Now, tight end isn't a priority for Seattle, but we have seen that the Seahawks haven't necessarily prioritized their main needs. Tight end, Darnell Washington was expected to be a first-round pick. He should be gone at 37. Somebody to watch for. He should be available at 37. He's one to watch for. Drew Sanders, linebacker from Arkansas. Seattle looking for rotational pieces at inside linebacker. Drew Sanders could be a good fit. He still needs some developing, but with where you're at with Seattle, with already having Bobby Wagner and also Jordan Brooks there, this could give them time for Drew Sanders to really learn the system and be a part of this scheme. Then there's Will Levis. Don't know if he's necessarily still around at 37, but he's already slipped farther than all of us thought. So that's possible to go Will Levis there. He will not be at the draft this evening, by the way. I guess he's leaving. He doesn't want to be seen on the cameras again. Can you really blame the guy? 52. We mentioned Keion White at edge rusher. He's a possibility. Another center option besides John Michael Schmitz. How about Luke Weipler out of The Ohio State? All Big Ten selection this past year. And he's got ability to play guard as well. Another running back to keep in mind at 52, Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. He is an option here potentially, and he's a guy that is a pretty decent pass catcher as well. And then you guys all know about Henley, the linebacker from Washington State. You Coug fans, I'm sure, would love to see him in Seattle. And then there's Benton, the defensive lineman from Wisconsin, still looking for help on the interior of the D-line. He's a possibility as well. Other options at 83 besides Spears that I want to tell you about here. Let's look at the edge rusher from Wisconsin, Nick Herbig, with this option here. He's possible. Also looking at Chandler Zavala, the offensive guard from NC State. He'll be around, expected to be there. Pretty decent year for Wake Forest guys in the draft. I feel like we don't say that too often. Kobe Turner is an option for Seattle on the defensive line, an interior player. And then we mentioned good year for Wake Forest. It's a good year for Tulane, in fact, with Dorian Williams also expected to be around there at 83, another linebacker option there for Seattle. So we'll see what the Seahawks do come tonight with these selections. 3 picks this evening, 8 picks to go. The draft really just getting started. What's the biggest need the Seahawks need to address tonight? Tell me in the comments section what you think that is that they need to take care of. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. I'll have updates throughout the evening and throughout the weekend. Stay tuned to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today.